My name's Jordan Young. I'm a track and field thrower from Canada. For over a decade, I've been working to understand every aspect of throwing. I'm an athlete, which means the only way to be great is through raw hard work and determination. This is my story. I'm going to be taking on one of athletics' biggest challenges, the Olympic Games.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of JY Throws. Over the last year, I've been making some crucial changes to my technique to improve my release position as well as my release angle. And in the last episode, I went over some of the cues that I've been working on to improve my release position. And a lot of that came down to reworking my stand throw and really making sure the discus stays with my shoulder. And in today's video, I want to take a look at my release angle and some of the things that I've been doing to improve that. But before we get into the specifics of my release angle and some more advanced cues, I want to take a look at some professional throwers and break down their technique into three key parts that I always try to hit when I'm working on my technique. To me, these are the most important positions that you can hit in your full throw, and I've been working to hit these positions for 10 plus years. And now that a lot of it is muscle memory, I don't often talk about the cues, so I want to kind of break it down, show you guys the simplified version of some positions that you're trying to hit. But first, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like so we can get it out to more throwers, and if you really enjoy it, subscribe for more. The first position I look for when analyzing professional throwers to improve my own technique is the balance out of the back of the circle. And getting their weight over top of their left leg. For me, it's my right leg out of the back, but for a right-handed person, it's going to be their left leg. So the way that I look at it, out of the back of the circle, your job is to rotate 180 degrees and get down to the middle in a good balanced position so that you can set yourself up for a good, powerful throw. And the best way to do that is by getting your weight over top of your leg, be nice and balanced over top of it so you set up a good rotational axis, and just rotate around and step to the middle, and then you're in a good balanced position. If I drop the hips back, and I'm back here, and from here, all my weight's over here, I can't really do anything. I've got to fall around to the middle, and I'm just not in a good balanced position. But if I get my weight over top of this leg, I can just rotate around, step to the middle, nice and easy, nice and balanced. So the first thing that I'm looking for when I'm watching throwers is them transferring their weight over top of that leg, get nice and balanced over top of it so that they can get to the middle in a good position. The second position I look for is the balance in the middle of the circle. So as I was explaining, out of the back of the circle, you want to be set up over top of your leg, nice and balanced, so that you can get to the middle in a good position. And that's actually the second position. Being in a good balanced position in the middle so that you're here, you can rotate nicely, set up a nice block, rotate around for a nice finish on your throw. You need to have that balanced middle. If you drop your hips back and are falling into the middle, you're not balanced and you're going to have a hard time setting up for a good throw where you finish nice and tall and balanced. And the third main position that I look for is a nice balanced finish with both feet on the ground at the moment of release. You'll see good throwers get a nice block, their foot in the middle rotates, it squares everything up to the finish, and they smack the discus down the middle, and you can see their body weight just stay centered, and it looks nice and balanced. But if you mess up any part earlier in the throw, like you come out of the back and you're falling into the middle, and then on the finish you're falling, you're not going to be able to hit that nice, powerful finish. So it's really important to have the whole throw come together, where you hit the middle nice and balanced, get your block down, and then you can square everything up and be nice and balanced on the finish. These three positions are key to having a nice, balanced, powerful throw. So when analyzing throwers, I pay attention to how they get to these positions, and then I go out to practice, test them out for myself, and sometimes something will click and it makes one of those three positions easier to hit, or it makes one of those three positions feel more powerful. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. Over the last year, I've been testing out some cues to improve my release angle. So funny enough, one of the most helpful things for me this year was going down a YouTube rabbit hole, and I started watching a bunch of random physics videos, and I came across one on gyroscopic precession. So the basic concept is that if something is spinning and a force is applied to it, it doesn't show the result of the force where you apply the force. It shows it 90 degrees later in the rotation, and it's kind of hard to explain, but let me show you guys. So I've got this canvas here, and if I place this canvas on my finger, you can see it's nice and balanced there on a balance point. And if I push down on the canvas, where I apply the force, the canvas directly reacts to it, and you can see it going down exactly where I'm pushing on it. And if I push up on it, it goes up in the same spot. Now, if we've got an object that's spinning, and I spin this canvas, now if I push down on the side, it'll show the resulting force 90 degrees later. See, if you push on the side, it tilts down forward. And now if I want it to fall to the side like I was before, I've got to push on the back and it'll fall to the side. So then I started to think about my discus throw. And when I'm trying to get a high point, I've always thought about trying to throw the discus up to the high point. But now I started to think, if I'm going to the middle and I apply the force at 90 degrees, the discus high point should be at the front. So I push here and the high point comes up at the front. So now out of the back of the circle at 90 degrees, I just try to add a little bit of vertical force, and then the discus naturally carries through to its own high point based on the gyroscopic precession. So now out of the back of the circle, I'm making sure that I'm getting my weight over top of my right leg, so I'm nice and balanced, setting up that rotational axis. And as I get to the middle at 90 degrees, I'm just trying to add a little bit of vertical force, and the discus, just from a little force here, is carrying naturally to a good high point. And then I can finish around to a good high point again. So long over the right, little vertical force, up. Long over the right, little vertical force, up. I want to quickly mention my next cue that goes along with this orbit out of the back. I need to make sure that I'm keeping the discus with my shoulder. And in the last video, I talked about my release position and how keeping the discus with the shoulder on my standing throw really helped me get that powerful finish. I need to make sure that I start by having the discus with my shoulder when I wind up out of the back of the circle and keep it with me the whole time so that I can be in that good powerful position on the finish to hit it nice and strong. If I wind back and let the discus kind of drop low or get too far behind, and coming out of the circle, the discus is dragging behind, when I go to add force normally, it should be here. Well, it should be here, but it's actually back here. And then the high point's over here at 90 degrees. And then on the finish, it shoots out early because the high point was set up way too early. So hopefully it makes sense, but winding back, keeping the discus with the shoulder there, and keeping it with the shoulder the whole time, locked in place and not letting it drag behind is one of the most helpful things for me this year. And the final cue that I want to share with you guys today that's been really helpful this year is actually with my off arm. Now I want to start by saying out of the back of the circle, I've always tried to think about keeping my off arm nice and parallel to the ground, and that was working pretty well for me. But once I started to try to add in that extra vertical force out of the back of the circle at 90 degrees to try to help me get a better orbit, it started to cause me to kind of jump to the middle and I was floating. So what Martin had me do was, as I was winding back, I was just started thinking about pointing down a bit more with my off arm instead of trying to have it level. And by pointing down, I started to establish an orbit a bit earlier. It was easier to carry this around. It made it easier to get my weight over top of my right leg. It got me down to the middle better. And then it helped me be in a good position with my off arm so that I could get a good stretch and finish it. And it was really such a simple cue, but by just kind of reaching down a little bit, reaching long with it, instead of trying to be flat the whole time, it just helped me with a bunch of different things. With these concepts and cues out of the way, I want to get into my practice for the day. Keep an eye out for all of the positions that I explained today because that's exactly what I'm working on in my full throws. and maybe you'll be able to pick up some more things that you can apply to your own practices. Now, today's practice is with a 2.5K, and towards the end of practice, I actually get into some 2K throws again for a little bit of fun. And everything was between 62 and 65 meters, and things are starting to feel really good. I also did a heavy bench day before, so I'm really pleased with how practice was feeling based on all of those factors. I'm going to wrap today's video up here, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, and if you really enjoyed it, subscribe for more. I will see you guys very soon with another one. UVA is actually having a home meet this weekend, so I plan to throw in that as long as the conditions aren't bad and it's not rainy or really terrible wind or something like that. So I'll see you guys hopefully early next week with that video. Take it easy.